in this module, I learned a lot about fatness and how it came to be, specifically in the podcast titled How Fatness Became a Cheap Joke and Proxy for Moral Deficiency in Pop Culture. I learned a lot about how white people wanted to make themselves like feel and be more like superior, and they wanted to do that by visibly just looking at someone, so they came out with people who are bigger. If you're bigger and you're a person of color, you are inferior. If you're bigger, you're lazy. If you're bigger, you're not an exemplary American. You don't fit the size, you don't fit the shape, you don't fit the criteria. Overall, you're a bum is kind of what I got from it. You're a bum if you're bigger and a person of color. It's just it has a negative connotation. It's just not a good thing from what I gathered in the podcast. And then I also learned about how white people made white women want to be skinnier because being bigger was a bad thing. You seemed like you were having a midlife crisis. And then I feel like that caused a lot of eating disorders or bad eating habits. And then specifically, like through the podcast, I learned about the scientific research and how a man did a study on a woman and how she had more fat in her thighs, and how that somehow made her more likely to become a prostitute or be a criminal or just get some type of job in that industry. And that irked me. That made me very upset because as a woman, I feel like even Amy said it in the podcast, fat naturally goes there. Like that is where a lot of our fat is. So it's so dumb how a lot of us are like that. Like we can't a lot of fat goes there. How are you going to just because someone has big thighs or bigger thighs, they're gonna be a prostitute or they're gonna be a criminal or they're gonna be a stripper? Like that makes no sense to me. That is so illogical, and it just evoked a lot of negative emotions. Honestly, it was so stupid. Like the research, and all of the research is also like a lot of the names were being done by men, probably white men too. It was just, I thought it was so dumb. Like I was unaware of all of that, and I feel like it made me more aware of how like we judge ourselves and how I see like bodies. It kind of changed my perspective. But yeah, all of this ties to me because I have body dysmorphia, and I am a person that's very skinny and tiny, but I want to gain weight. So as soon as I start to gain weight, I feel like I stop eating, because if I'm fat, I feel like I'm big. Like for example, I feel like I'm lazy because I'm not working out, or I'm not eating right, or I feel like I'm having like some type of issue because I do stressy. So maybe I'm stressed out too much, and all of that food is getting to me, and it creates a lot of like negative mental habits. So yeah, I really connected to that. Even though I'm not fat, I feel like I experience some similar things that fat people may experience, like coping with food. I'm a foodie. If I'm stressed, I'll eat. And yeah, it makes me very like anxious and very self-conscious of myself. So yeah, overall that's what I learned in this episode. Thank you.